My name is Mélanie Rouppe van Voort. I currently work in the Dutch financial sector. I started out, I think, 25 years ago and started in the banking industry as a company lawyer. And then later on, I worked in the business and I switched to the consultancy. And then I actually changed roles as well. So I started to focus on change management, so leadership and change. And with this working experience, I went to my current employer. So I'm a supervisor on governance, behavior, and culture. And I look at the board effectiveness of financial institutions and their ability to change, so change effectiveness, and also risk culture and integrity climate. So interesting stuff. That's my working background at the moment. And I'm married. I have two kids, two teenagers. You can maybe see them in the back when they were still young and adorable. Now they're two nice people in puberty. Well, today you're actually speaking with me in my role as coach, so certified coach. And I have a small coaching practice and I combine that with my permanent job. So that's where I am today. First of all, the reason I did this program is that I'm really fascinated in how you build relationships and how they change over time and also how they end. And we don't actually learn that when we're young. So to consciously design that was very helpful to me. And what I notice is that I've become much savvier in naming what's going on in a relationship. So actually reading the emotional field, as they call it in the ORSC world, and it enriches your relationship. I think actually when I look at the pandemic, it absolutely changed relationships. For me, it was like a cooker crusher. Because we were all at home, and for instance, I thought, oh, my husband is also becoming a colleague. And of course, that's not true, because you can't expect from one person to do all the roles. So my husband is my husband, my colleagues are my colleagues. And at the same time, I think also because of this time frame, you start to develop compassion for each other, but also for yourself. So you also get to know yourself a lot better. So in that way, it is really enriching for myself, but also for the outer world I function in. The biggest impact for me was that it was a combination of theory, practice. I had individual supervision, group supervision, team supervision. So the whole program helps you to become well-trained. And I think I also became a better listener and observer. So what you actually learn is to be at the dance floor and then go to the balcony and back and forth and back and forth. So you become sometimes like a fly on the wall and you're looking down at relationships and start to notice what is happening there and also what is needed in a relationship and also the wisdom that's in it. So I think that is the biggest impact for me, that I developed a new view on looking at relationships. For me, it was actually the World Work project I did. So that is a component. The World Work project is a real life project. So you get to practice your ORSC skills. You literally put the ORSC methodology into the world and become a change agent for it as well. But it was very fulfilling for me to do it because I coached a foundation and they supported immigrant women that come to the Netherlands and try to build a life. So the foundation actually supports them economically, but also socially. And I coached a group of change agents. And it was very interesting because it was a very diverse group, a lot of different nationalities. And some of the women really had difficulty to speak their voice, to speak what they thought because of those cultural differences. So what I tried to do is build some tolerance for difference, as they call it. And then, and that made it a bit more complex. Some of these women came from war zones. So they had experienced all kinds of traumatic events. Sometimes very difficult marriages and also strict upbringing. So people can become triggered. And in the ORSC, we also had beautiful tools that could help these women. But it asks something extra because you're very close to that person and really need to keep your own balance in order to really help those people as well. So yes, I would. It's a scientifically based training, which really appeals to me. It's a thorough training. You get a lot of supervision, a lot of practice, and you do it with a small cohort. So that is also a safe container or a safe space to practice. And it really helps to also stay committed because, well, for almost a year, you really commit to a training program. And then it's really helpful to have some people around that go through the same process as you do. So yes, wonderful.
Yeah, cool.
And maybe something nice to also share is that I was in a cohort with a lot of Americans, and then we had a few European members, and we formed a European cohort after the certification program. And we meet every 2 weeks, and we help each other to prepare for upcoming coaching sessions. We share knowledge, and this summer, we actually met each other. So it was as if we had known each other for many, many years, but it's a precious friendship. Clients can expect that they ask a well-trained coach with the experience, with coaching hours. Yes, and of course, when you really carry this trademark, they expect you to do continuous learning as well. And for me, it's also an acknowledgement because I've invested a lot of time and effort and training hours. So, well, it's also an acknowledgement for me in that regard. The first value for me is that you speak the same language. So it becomes much easier to cooperate, to work together, and you can inspire each other with all kinds of tools and knowledge. So that is really nice. And then, of course, I combine my coaching practice with my permanent work. So I probably could do much more with it, but at the moment, I try to keep a good balance. So for me, word of mouth is most important at the moment. It's nice to be in touch and well, to ask questions when you really need them to be answered and look for some help. That's possible.